this out of the way. What's up, everyone? So I know last week I had talked about doing live streams every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I was going to start this week, and I missed Tuesday. But I have a good excuse. I was in Nashville Tuesday night, actually rehearsing at the time that I normally would have been live streaming. So I thought about trying to get a live stream going during rehearsal, and it didn't work out. And then Wednesday night, actually, last night, I tried to do a live stream, and went back and watched it later and realized that the audio was complete garbage for some reason, and it made, like, there was a weird delay thing happening where it made things sound like they were really out of time, and it was just super weird. So I deleted it. Very rarely do I ever delete a video from my YouTube channel, but that one was so bad. The stream quality was so bad from my phone here that I just completely deleted it. So Eric, what's up, man? How's the stream quality? Is it okay? I'm on Wi-Fi. As you can see, I'm not in my normal, Christopher, what's up? I'm not in my normal setup. Usually I'm right back in there, but I'm on my laptop tonight because, Christopher, normal quality looks good. Okay, cool. So tonight, well, tomorrow morning, I should say, Tilly and I have to get up super early. Tomorrow is, well, technically the 12th, so Saturday, but a year ago tomorrow, Tilly and I, or a year ago tomorrow, Tilly and I got married. So it's our first anniversary this weekend, and it's Tilly's birthday. We got married literally on her birthday. So it's the first birth-diversary, as we're calling it. So to celebrate, we are getting up and catching a flight tomorrow morning to New York City. We're going to New York for the weekend to hang out. So I just edited a video that will be up. I'm going to upload it, and then it'll go live tomorrow morning. So you guys will have a new vlog, a new Backstage Journal vlog out tomorrow. But I thought I'd go live tonight. Even though we have to get up, we just found out, or just decided that we have to get up, I think, at probably 3 in the morning here, Eastern time, to to catch our flight out of Atlanta, which is going to be horrible. But we'll be in New York City by, maybe, I don't know, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Let's see. Eric, no, this is not a new guitar. This is my Black Falcon. I've had this for a couple years. It doesn't come out all that often, even though I really love this guitar. And it plays incredibly well. I had Dave Honorado set this up for me, and it just plays amazing. So I've settled on a name for the live stream. We're going with Last Call. I think that's awesome. It's a good name. So tonight is the first episode of Last Call, and I dug through some of my emergency stash and found literally just the last few drops of this. So this is what I'm drinking tonight. Glenmorangie Lasanta. I've had this for a couple years. I bought this, so my friend Phil, who you've seen in the vlogs, the bass player friend that I play with Noah, is a great friend of mine. A couple years ago for his birthday, I bought him a bottle of this, and we drank it at his birthday party, and I liked it so much that I went and bought a bottle of my own. So this is literally all that was left. All that was left in that bottle. So I figured, for the first official Last Call episode, we'll drink the last of that. So anyways, gosh, Glenmorangie is without a doubt my favorite Scotch. They're my favorite distillery from Scotland. They're just unbelievably good. So anyway, what are we talking about tonight? What's on the docket? Gosh, this guitar plays so good. I forgot my first. Chris, you forgot your first anniversary. That's amazing. Well, that's not amazing. That's tough. But see, my thing is because it's Tilly's birthday and our anniversary, I can't ever screw that up. I can't mess that up, or I'll be in big trouble. Caleb, I've not listened to John Mayer's new song yet. I've heard it's great. Eric just traded an SG Junior for a new GNL. Man. You know, I was in Guitar Center in Nashville yesterday. It was actually the Cool Springs one south of Nashville a little bit. It's not the official Nashville Guitar Center. But I went in there. I was looking for, there's a pedal, another pedal I need to buy for this gig. I guess I'll fill you guys in on how the rehearsal went here in a minute. But, you know, I was in the Guitar Center yesterday, and that was the first time in a long time I've actually spent a lot of time in Guitar Center. I actually went, and they didn't have what I was looking for, of course. I'm looking for an Electro Harmonix Small Stone. So if anybody has one of those, you know, that they're willing to sell, maybe a vintage one, let me know. So they didn't have what I was looking for, but I decided, you know, I'm going to hang out here. I'm just going to look at what they have and play some guitars and just see what's up. Kind of check in to the scene, you know. So I sat down for about 15 minutes and played a bunch of different stuff, and I was impressed with a couple of things and really disappointed in a couple of things. So the first thing I was really impressed with was Fender's new Pro Junior amp that they have out. The little tweed, 15-watt EL84s, you know, really just two knobs, volume and tone. Man, that's a badass little amp. I think I might try and pick one of those up. I played that, and I played the new Blues Junior, the version 4 Blues Junior, and man, I think those are two really great amps. If you're looking for something that is maybe your first tube amp, or you want something that's small and lightweight and sounds good that you can take to rehearsals or even gig on, that, you know, it doesn't cost, you know, your firstborn, those Fenders are pretty good, man. I have a Blues Junior. You know, it's one of the bigger bigger videos on my channel is me modding the Blues Junior, and man, that thing, I've literally beat the crap out of that amp. When I was teaching a lot, at one time I had 40 guitar students a week, and I had to drive around a lot, and so I bought that amp. It's basically like my teaching amp and rehearsal amp, and I would just literally, I would set that amp in the back of my truck, and it would roll around. Like I would take a turn too fast or something, and the amp would go tumbling around and knocked all over the place. It's fine. It's built like a tank. I've modded it. I taught myself how to solder on a printed circuit board on that amp. I've swapped the speaker out. I've swapped the reverb tank out. I broke a reverb tank. I've done all kinds of stuff to it, and it just won't quit, man. It's they're great amps for $500. I think they are $500 or $600. Can't really beat them. So I was really impressed with that. Eric did a little recording this week. Used some of your profiles, digging all those. Also, the Who Freak run the new board. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'd love to hear how the people that bought the profiles last week, the Kemper profiles, let me know what you guys think. And I guess I'll do that again tonight. I haven't had time to set up the store on my website, so if you're interested in my Kemper profiles, the profiles of my personal amps that I made 2 weeks ago, you guys can shoot me an email through my website, rhettshull.com, or you can PayPal me. We'll do it $20. We'll call it the birth anniversary sale. $20 will get you all of the profiles. So it's my Divided by 13, a Matchless Lightning 15, a Morgan AC20 Deluxe, and a couple other special little amps in there. So you guys can PayPal me, rshull07@gmail, or you can email me and we'll work it out there. I would ask if you're going to do that, a little patience, because it's my anniversary this weekend. So if I don't get to it this weekend, I will do it first thing on Monday. But anyway, James, congrats on 4,000 subs. Thanks, man. Yeah, so that is something that happened yesterday. What are you... Am I wearing a tie? Hold on. Tilly's packing for me. She's asking...
Which one do y'all think? He's wearing this blue and white striped t-shirt. He doesn't know yet, but he is.
Okay.
Because it's my birthday.
Yeah.
And one of these ties.
I mean, bring both of them.
Can you see them?
Yeah, that looks good. Bring both of them.
Both of them? Which one do y'all think looks better?
Gray or the blue? And
The one on your right is the blue or gray. I think I kind of like
Frank
the blue.
says gray. Ron says gray.
Yeah?
Just bring them both, but I agree. I think the gray works better with the blue
You
and
have gray
white.
pants. I'm dressing him.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, okay, yesterday I hit 4,000 subscribers. That was... I actually hit 4,000 subs while I was in rehearsal with the band. And, hey, babe, Ron says wear them both. Ron, Tilly... Yeah, Tilly thinks that's a great idea, Ron. That's good. Yeah, I hit 4,000 subscribers when I was in rehearsal with Jesse and the band yesterday. So, thank you guys for doing that. That was awesome. It's amazing to see this thing actually growing. You know, the goal for this year, for the next few months, the goal is 10,000. So, that's what I'm shooting for. 10,000 subs. But, anyways, let's see. We were talking about gear, then Kemper profiles. Oh, man. Okay, so I did play a couple of Gibsons. You know, the new stuff that they have out. Yes. What? No, I'll use my bag. Wait, what are you bringing? Oh, you're bringing the big black suitcase?
Yeah, I'll check it.
That's fine. If you want me to use that, I'll just use the blue one. Okay. All right. Anyways, I played some HS. Ron, what's HS mean? Played some Gibsons yesterday. I played an SG that was pretty interesting. It was an SG with mini humbuckers. And I think that's more of the direction that Gibson needs to be headed in. So this guitar was a bare bones SG, you know, all mahogany. There was no finish on it. It was basically just a natural finish. There's no lacquer or anything like that on it. Just a natural sort of aged brown mahogany, and had mini humbuckers in it, and it felt great. It played great. It sounded great, and it was like $800. Hey Ethan, all is well. Thanks, man. Yeah, it was like $800, and so I picked it up, and at first I was skeptical. I was like, okay, here we go, Gibson's finest right here, and man, it felt pretty good right out of the box. There were some things that I would change on it. Definitely needed a setup, and it needs the frets dressed on the ends. I mean, that's one thing I really hate on guitars is when the frets poke out from the edge of the fretboard and you're, you know, catching on your fingers and everything. So there's a couple things that needed to change. The pickup height needed some adjusting and everything. But dude, for $800, you could get yourself an SG. Which the thing that I love about SGs is they're kind of like Gibson's version of the Tele, in the fact that they're just really bare bones, basic. I mean, it's essentially just a mahogany cutting board with a neck stuck on it. So they sound great, they look cool, they play great, and they're cheap. And it's a guitar that you don't have to worry about. You know, like this guitar is, you know, it's beautiful, and I love this Gretsch, but it's one of those things that every time I take it out, I'm kind of always like worried about it, and you know, I don't want it to get messed up, and it's got a floating bridge on it, and all this, you know, the Bigsby and everything. Are those heavy in weight? Wait, Frank, it wasn't heavy, and I didn't test. You know, the biggest reason I've never owned an SG is because everyone I've ever played with a strap on, they neck dive because the necks on them are so long. If you've never played an SG, I mean, the neck joins the body at like, I think the 16th fret or something like that. So the neck is really, really long. So when you have them on a strap, they dive like that. So this one may have done that. I wasn't able to test that out, but it was pretty light. I mean, I would say it was probably 7 pounds, 3 or 4 ounces. It was pretty light. But dude, for $800, that's, I think, the market that Gibson needs to start getting back into. You often put the neck sharp on SGs. You know, I think that's the market Gibson needs to be getting back into if they want to kind of get back on top of things, get back on top of pull the neck sharp, yeah. If they want to get back on top of the business, start offering stuff that's in that under $100,000 range. You know, get a couple of different SGs in there. Get a Les Paul Studio line. You know, a traditional Les Paul Studio, a Les Paul Studio with mini humbuckers, and then maybe do something crazy. If you could do like a Les Paul Studio with a Bigsby on it or something like that, real funky, for $1,000, dude, I think that would be great. That way working musicians could afford them. They wouldn't be, you know, investments that you have to really worry about long term. So that was impressive. I played a couple of Fenders. Actually, they're called Gibson HP models. Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know, Ron, I didn't know they were called HP. I just called it an SG with mini humbuckers on it. So I was really impressed with that SG. Right price, right feel, right sound, everything. You know, it's one of those things like, yeah, I would buy one of these. You know, if I wanted an SG to have around, like, that'd be cool. And then I picked up a couple of Fenders. And I played a Mexican Telly, which was, you know, par for the course, felt like a Mexican. What's up, Scott? Having a great night, man. Played a Mexican Telly, which, you know, felt normal, which is one of those things. Sonny, you just got an email from Sonny here. I'll read that in a minute, man. It's fine, you know, nothing crazy, nothing to write home about really. But, and then I picked up one of the new American, I guess the American Professional Series Strats. And you know, maybe it was a dud or something, but man, I was not feeling that guitar at all. It was a maple neck, which I don't normally like on Strats to begin with. But man, it just felt sort of generic to me, and it felt, how can I describe this? It lacked any kind of personality. And so now part of it is because I've been playing this Strat for the past few weeks. So I've had my hands on this Echo Park. Gabriel sent this out to me a couple weeks ago. If you've been on the channel for a while, you've seen this guitar, you've heard me talk about it. Yes, Eric, I've totally been spoiled by this Echo Park. So here's the deal, man. I've never really been a Strat guy. I realize some of you may be on my channel because you saw me talking about the PRS Strat versus my Fender, and I've had that Fender John Mayer Strat for a long time, and that's a great guitar. But it's never been one of my go-tos. It's never been something that I just grab off the rack to take to a gig or to take to just play or whatever. It's always been, okay, cool, I think this needs a Strat tone, or yeah, it's always been a guitar out of necessity, if that makes any sense. when you need the Strat sound, it's like, okay, cool, I've got a Strat that I can go reach for. But this thing has turned me into a Strat guy, and that's no easy feat. So props to Gabriel for putting together a truly badass instrument. Now this one's pretty special. It's made of some special wood and everything. And the cool thing about Gabriel is he actually worked for G&L in the 80s and worked under Leo Fender. So the dude built Strats for Leo, so he knows what he's doing. But I mean, this thing is amazing. So next week when I get home from our anniversary trip, I'm going to be spending, my goal for next week is to shoot a video every day. I need to get caught up on some stuff. So I'm going to be doing the video on the Echo Park next week. I'm going to be doing the video on my new Novo, on their Scarlet Novo, which is in the case right there. I've also got some pedal stuff coming out. So for all you gearheads that are subscribed and interested in that stuff, next week is going to be plenty of that. And then unfortunately, I have to send this back, but I'm trying to hold on to it for as long as I can. So Scott, you have an Epi Les Paul, looking for something a little better and lighter, and I don't want to spend more than $1,000 on any suggestions. And you definitely want a Les Paul, Scott. Another Les Paul for under $1,000. I mean, that's tough. You could hunt around and find a good studio, like a used studio. You're open to anything as long as it's lighter. Okay, now we're talking. So if you're looking for something lighter, man, you could do, I would look into a PRS, maybe a used like CE22, which is what I have, my PRS. Those are really cool guitars. They don't make them anymore, so they're floating around on the used market. What's up, Desmond? And they are lighter than Les Pauls. They are double cuts, but there's still that Les Paul formula. The mahogany body, maple cap, dual humbuckers, all that kind of stuff. They play great. I love my PRS. I don't play it enough, honestly, and they're lighter. And you could find, let me just see here. I'm at my computer. Let me go on Reverb real quick and look up a PRS CE22. Not the SE. The SEs are the import stuff. The CEs are American made in Maryland, but they're bolt neck. So it's essentially like a bolt neck version of a custom 24. They also do a CE24, but I'm going to look at the CE22 because that's what I have. Okay, yeah, first thing pops up. 1998 Tobacco Burst, USA made, $1,100, $1,125. 96 for $1,150. Here's one for $1,300, $1,200. So these are all within striking distance, Scott, of something that you could, some of these have probably been up for a little while. You could talk some of these guys down. Let me put this in the. Let's see here. This one's been on for 4 days. Check that out, Scott. Have I played any newer SGs? Kind of worried because of Gibson's QC issues. So here's the deal with Gibson's quality control stuff. You just have to go and play them because, Gibson still makes great guitars. It's not that every new Gibson is garbage. I don't believe that to be the case at all. I just think there are more dogs in there than there have been in the past. So I would definitely take the time to go and play something before you buy it. But for what you're looking for, if you are used to the Les Paul formula and you just want something lighter, check out those PRSs, man. Those are really cool. For the price range you're in, those are really, really cool. Let's see here. So, what's up? Juan Manuel Torres. I don't think I've seen you in here before, man. So yeah, My video I've got coming out tomorrow is another Backstage Journal vlog. So for those of you that are interested in that, you know, I'm getting more into the vlogging thing. And so this is an interesting discussion. I would like to hear your input on this. Social longboards. Thoughts on the Novo? Well, since we're talking about the Novo, let me grab it. So this is the guitar that has come to be known as Scarlet. Oh, cool. First time to be awake during one of my streams. Well, welcome, man. Glad you could be here. Yeah, this is Scarlet, and she has definitely earned a position in the first string, I guess you could say. So usually when I gig, I take 3 guitars. Now that may be whittled down to 2 with Jesse, because when I was in Muddy Magnolias, I had to play standard tuning, I had to play open E, and I had to play dadgad all in the same set. So that made it necessary to bring 3 guitars. So luckily now I think I can get away with 2. So I have one that's in drop D, which is, you know, pretty normal, and then the other's in standard. So the way it sits right now, my 2 main touring guitars are going to be this Novo and my Novo Ceres J. I was at the Novo shop on Tuesday, which you'll see in the vlog tomorrow, and they were showing me some new stuff, so that's cool. This is Daniel. What's up, man? This is not a P90. It looks like a P90. This is a P45. So same basic shape and design as a P90, but it's wound a lot lower than an actual P90. So it's lower output. It's closer to the output of a normal Tele pickup, a Tele neck pickup, but it just sounds a little bit different. What kind of bridge pickup is that? Saw the first video with it, sounded awesome. Thanks, man. So both of these pickups are Amalfitanos. Amazing pickups. Unfortunately, Amalfitano is no longer making pickups. As far as I know, he has either permanently or semi-permanently shut down production on these. So this was the last set of Amalfitanos that they had at Novo, and they gave them to me, which is awesome. But now the Novo guys are running Freylings and Lawlers and stuff like that, which is amazing. Billy, what's up? From Oxford. Very cool. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. Obviously, everyone here is into YouTube because you're on my channel right now, and we're hanging out on the YouTube live stream. I've been talking to Rick Beato in the past couple of days. He and I have been going back and forth on... He sent me in... the pickguard is aligned with the bridge pickup. That's really nice design. Yeah, man, it's great. Dennis Fano knows what he's doing, man. He's brilliant. So, but Rick and I have been talking the past couple days. He sent me this article talking about how this major YouTuber named Logan Paul is stepping back from the platform, and it's been interesting. You know, this channel has been growing. I just hit 4,000 subscribers yesterday, which is awesome. But it's growing at a slower pace than Rick's channel first grew. So if you don't know, I know a lot of you people are here because of Rick's channel, and you heard about me through Rick and everything. But if you don't know, Rick Beato and I go way back, and I've worked for Rick and worked with Rick for the past 6 years or so. And I was the one that convinced him to join YouTube about 2 years ago. And it was amazing to see how fast his channel grew. But things are different now. And we were talking, you know, today, and he said, you know, for what you're doing, he's talking about me and Nare Soul, which if you don't know Nare Soul, she's amazing. Incredible pianist and YouTuber. I mean, I love her videos. But was talking about my channel and how things, it's not growing as fast as his grew when he first started. Part of that is because he put out a lot more videos than I did. But the other thing too is the YouTube algorithm seems to have changed again, and it seems to be favoring the larger creators, and YouTube is in the process of bringing in a couple of celebrities and basically building vlogs around Will Smith, LeBron James, and there's another English celebrity that they have coming on. And so it's just interesting to see what's happening. But I think, you know, smaller channels like mine are getting kind of buried by the algorithm right now. So it's tough to translate views into subscribers. And so I guess my question for you is, you know, what made you subscribe to this channel? If anybody wants to answer in detail, like, how did you find me and what made you subscribe? Was it gear videos? Was it the backstage vlog stuff? Was it the live streams? I'm trying to kind of suss out what's working on this channel and what's not, because I really want this thing to grow and be successful. And I'm going to continue to put out, I think my next major step is shooting for at least 3 videos a week. First video was the Morgan review. Okay, so that's a gear video. That video has actually gotten me a lot of subscribers and a lot of work. Actually, a lot of gear companies have reached out to me because of that video, which is cool. I'm really proud of that video. I think it came out really well. But I think the next thing is making a goal of 3 videos a week, which I think I can do. I can maintain that pretty well. I'm starting to kind of hone in on my workflow and sort of streamline everything. So Frank, discussion with Rick on the Gibson bankruptcy stuff, Fender and State of Rock and Roll. That's his video, but it led me to your channel. Yeah, okay, cool. I think that's a pretty common thing. A lot of people found me through that, which is awesome. Those are really fun videos to make. I think we've got a couple more of those lined up, actually. But, you know, shooting for 3 videos a week and keeping some variety in them, so maybe doing a gear video and a vlog and a lesson video or something a week. Sparta Marley favorites are always going to be the gig videos. Cool. Well, lucky for you, man. My touring schedule should be picking up in the next few months. So, yeah, and speaking of that, let me fill you guys in on, do a video with just you and Rick, if you can. Okay. I may just do that. Came through Rick's channel, stayed because of the easy rapport. Also, there's no plan B. Nice. Scott, I'll remember how you found your channel, made you subscribe as the provide real content in terms of being a working musician. Is really good. Awesome. Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, Scott, so that's encouraging to hear. Refreshing and honest, Eric, still about guitar, which is first track me, but I ended up loving backstage journal stuff and vlogs. Your channel's the only one where I feel I can watch the live streams. Nice, man. That's great. Very cool. Ron and Nare Soul. Yes, and Billy. Cool. So it's like we've got a little network thing going here between Rick and me and Nare, which is cool. Maybe we can team up and take over YouTube. My dream, if I'm totally honest, my dream for this channel would be to somehow reach out to people and get people to be interested and subscribe who are not necessarily musicians or music nerds or anything like that, or gear nerds, but if I could find a way to make it interesting enough that normal people, not normal people, but non-musical people would want to subscribe because they're interested in what the life of a working musician is like. I think if I really boil it down, that's what I'm trying to do. So, what's up, Ray? Desmond, gig touring vlogs are nice. Share, like, yeah, very cool. Love your vlogs and musician vlogs in general, but I think target audience is kind of videos not that big. Compare Rick's channel. Yeah. So the thing about Rick is he has a really unique skill set in that he can just talk about literally anything music and teach about it. You know, I mean, that's incredibly rare just in general, but even more so on YouTube, which that's been where his success has come from, which is awesome. And that's, I knew that would happen, and that's why I told him to start doing YouTube, if I may say so myself. Jamming live would bring more viewers. Okay, that's cool. That could be interesting. What? Give me more detail on that. What do you mean jamming live? So like playing on live streams more, or playing with other musicians? What does that mean? Music theory just incredibly popular for some reason. Ray, I'm reading that. Rick has experience in all areas of music. Who has a humble person? Thanks, man. Jam session live stream. Okay. Pro experience. Gear videos are where the popularity and views are coming from right now, so I say milk that to get a good following. Well, Aiden, I am doing that. I definitely am doing that. And you know what? There's a lot of value in the gear world. You know, there's a lot of value in that. You know, in you know, if I can influence someone to be interested in Novo, for example, or Echo Park or whatever, I think that's a really cool thing. And the way that I do the gear stuff is, you know, I talk about things that I actually play. And I think my perspective as a like working, playing, touring guitarist, you know, I know what works and I know what doesn't work, and I can talk about that kind of stuff. Jordan, teach us from your skill set with live guitar. Okay. Do some interviews with others in the industry. Thought about doing that. Ray, why are you putting periods between everything? It's freaking me out, man. Man, I had something I was going to talk about, and I got sidetracked. And I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, interviews would be fun. I actually used to have a podcast. I don't know if anybody knew that. Probably nobody did. Years ago, I did a podcast. And it's still up. I think you can still find it. It's called The Live Room. Yeah, The Live Room Podcast. Sonny, 4K subs, extremely good for the amount of videos you have at the moment. I just keep on keeping on. People follow. Thanks, man. Rehearsal live stream on Instagram last night, and that was awesome. It was really cool to see how professional practice goes. Not sure how popular it'd be, but I loved it. Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Ron, every time I see RB or you play, I grab my bass guitar and play along. After playing 40 years with other people, it's nice to keep the skill set current. Yeah, man. Ray, I don't know. That's hysterical, man. Oh, that's great. Somebody chip in. Ray, put your PayPal link or something in there, and somebody can chip in for a new keyboard for Ray. Yeah, so Aiden, I agree. That's really the goal with the Backstage journal things is turning that into a big focus in the channel. The problem with that right now is I'm not on the road currently. I did a major crowdfund that man a new keyboard. Wait, what do you mean you have the new one? Don't you just have to plug it in? Come on, man. I was touring a lot last year before I really started the channel. I did a big, you know, cross-country tour in December with Muddy laptop, got it. With Muddy Magnolias, which was a ton of fun. So, and it's looking like right now things are going to pick up with that at the end of the summer. So essentially what I've been doing is, you know, playing mostly one-off dates, you know, just one show here, one show here, one show here with different artists and making the vlogs around that. But it's hard to generate a real audience behind that when they're so inconsistent. So, and I don't, it's tough making a backstage journal vlog when I'm home, you know. I feel like I could use time at home to work on other videos, other content. So, which gig do I like more, Eric? Noah or Miss Wilson? So I learned last night that she's not going to go by the name Miss Wilson. I don't know what her new stage name is going to be, but there's some copyright stuff going on where she can't use that name, which sucks. But Jessie Wilson is her name. So which gig do I like more? Man, it's not really a more or less thing. You know, I really love playing with both. If you're nasty. I really love playing with both artists for different reasons. So Noah, as a guitarist, and I guess as an artist in my own respect, Noah's music is great because it's all about supporting. It's more parts playing, and it's all parts that I've written, which is cool. You know, when you listen to Noah's record, The Valley, you know, that's all my guitar parts and everything we recorded right here in this room. And so the music is tons of fun to play, and I get to play a lot of variety of stuff on a Noah show. We will play hard rock where I rip solos and do everything like that, and then I'll play something super sweet and sensitive and, you know, lovey-dovey, and it's just fun to be able to cover all those bases. With Jessie's gig, you know, we just had the first 2 rehearsals, and what's interesting about that is the music. You know, I didn't play on that record. Pat Carney produced it and pretty much played almost everything on it, and they had another guitar player come in. I don't know who it was, but do some parts. And so because of that, that sound is completely different than anything I've really ever done before. RB just came up, Ron. Cool. So that sound is completely different than anything I've ever had to do before, and so it really stretched me to be able to get those tones, and, you know, I had to buy some new gear to be able to pull off those sounds and the parts and everything. But the reason that's cool is now I've grown as a musician, and I've grown, you know, I look at playing parts differently now, and Jessie's music is, man, I mean, the new stuff is just tons of fun. I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. I don't know when the record's going to be released, but you will probably be seeing some live video stuff on this channel that's, you know, of her music pretty soon. And I can't wait for you to hear it because, man, it's fun. It's tons of fun. So, yeah, I don't like one better than the other, you know. They're just different. So, Aiden, yeah, I think you're doing anything wrong. So far, so good. Okay, cool. Alex, new to the channel, love your videos. Thanks, man. So yeah, I mean, that's really what's going on, you know. Yeah, you're welcome, Frank. How did you approach learning parts for her gig since you said it stretched you a little? It's a good question, Scott. So, you know, they sent me the music a couple weeks ago, and I started off for a week by just listening. Like the first week, I listened to the music every day, and I didn't touch a guitar. I didn't pick it up. I didn't try and find out what the parts were. I just listened because I wanted to internalize it. So I did that. I listened a lot. And then when I came to pick up the guitar, the parts are not hard. The music is not hard. In fact, musically, Noah's gig is a lot tougher than Jesse's gig. You know, the new Jesse music is pretty simple musically, but it's hard in that the record has a really distinct feel. It has a very sort of, like, I don't know what you would call it. It just has attitude. Like, the record has attitude. And the key is being able to pull that off live. And that's the hard part. You know, some of her songs are literally 2 chords. Like, the whole song is 2 chords. You know, minor 1 to minor 4. And just back and forth the whole time. So when you're working in that space, there's only so much room you have, right? And it's in that spectrum, it's not about like, okay, well, what modes can I play over this, or, you know, how should I think about interval relationships when I'm soloing to try and target certain chord tones. It's like, no, dude, you've got 2 chords and they're pretty close to each other. They're pretty closely related. So you've essentially got 5 notes to work with that work, maybe 6. So in that setting, it's more so about nailing the feel. And I would say that's really, as a guitarist and as a musician, I would like to think that that's probably one of my strongest parts of my play. I'm not a theory nerd. I can't necessarily, you know, I can play and I can hold my own, certainly, but, you know, I'm no virtuoso by any means. But I think what I'm good at is making things feel good. And so that was really the toughest part about learning the songs, was making the guitar parts feel the right way. So still waiting on the solo album. Oh man. Ethan, no album was great. I'd love to be able to record at home as you guys did. Could you recommend some drum mics for home recording? I can. Yeah, if anybody has any engineering or recording questions or mixing questions, I do a lot of that stuff. I haven't talked about it on the channel much, but I do a lot of engineering and mixing and stuff like that. So, drum mics for recording. First and foremost, I would say SM57s. I'd get 2 of them. Those are going to be your snare top and bottoms. This is assuming that budget is no, you know, there's no consideration for budget here. MD 421s, Sennheisers for toms. For kick, I like an RE20, Electro Voice RE20 for kick in. And a couple different things for kick out. You could use like an 87 or a 67, or a large diaphragm condenser can work pretty well on kick out. If you just want one kick mic, a Beta 52 works just fine, or an RE20. And then for overheads, it depends on what type of setup. If you're going, you know, dual overheads, if you're going with the Glenn Johns tracking method, I would start with just probably a good condenser and just doing a single overhead. If you want to do the stereo pair overheads, then 2 small diaphragm condensers. The Neumann KM184s are good, you know, industry standards. There's a ton of stuff out there for all that stuff, but yeah. Are you typically the only guitarist on stage? How do you process playing? Okay, that's a good question, Aiden. Yes, generally I'm the only guitarist on stage. Can you play some tunes before you close out? Yeah, I mean, I'm not plugged up or anything, but typically, yes, I'm the only guitarist on stage, and so that's a really timely question, because much of my time in rehearsal the past 2 days was spent trying to figure out what guitar parts from the record I needed to play. Not what I wanted to play, what I needed to play. So in Jesse's new music, on most of the songs, there's like 4 guitar parts going on. You know, there might be a There's a lead part. Right, that's a lead part. That's literally one of the main lines from the song. And then there'll be a guitar that's just doing. That's a part. And then there'll be a guitar that's just going. You know, so it's trying to find what works live as the only guitarist. And so on some songs, it's easy. I'm just playing one or two parts and it fits really well. But on certain songs, like the song I was just playing, that song's called Oh Baby, and I literally am jumping back and forth. So I'm playing the main line of the intro, and then I'm completely switching tones. I'm tap dancing around my board for the verse. I'm going, and then skank, skank. That's two different guitar parts on the record. The one part's just going with a lot of spring reverb. The other one's got a phaser on, is going. And so, realistically, that verse needs both parts. So I had to figure out, like, okay, how am I going to make this work? So I play it. And so, you know, if we had two guitars, one of us would be doing the low part, the other part would be the skank kind of thing. So that's really kind of what you're getting paid to do as a guitarist, as a hired gun guitarist, is like covering the parts, making them feel right, making them sound right. So, yeah. Make sure to get in on a bit of the writing action as well. Yeah, I do a lot of writing as well, Sonny. I'm definitely in on that action. Aiden, how do you decide what to play as the only guitarist to fill up that space with staying in your own range of guitar lives in? Man, that's tough. So it really depends. The key is listening. So when you're playing in a room with other musicians, everyone is playing things slightly differently than what was recorded, just because that's how humans work. You cannot play it exactly the same way. So the drums may be slightly different. The bass line or bass tone might be slightly different. The timing, the tempo, everything may be slightly different. So you start with the parts as kind of a basic roadmap, and then you kind of fill it in and make it your own. So like I was just showing you, you know, that one part. On the record, that verse, that's two different parts that I had to switch between. And then I have to switch tones again for the chorus. So for the chorus, it goes back to a big, fat, crazy fuzz tone. You know, and then second verse, I'm doing something different. You know, on second verse, I go to a dotted eighth delay, and I'm just, you know, so all this stuff just kind of comes to you in the moment. It's your own creativity, where it's like, okay, I know the end goal, I know what it needs to sound like. I have to figure out how to get it there. You know, Jesse is not going to tell me, okay, I need you to dial in a dotted eighth delay with some spring reverb and then throw some phaser on as well, and then try it with your boost pedal, but then take your boost pedal out and let's listen to the difference. Like, she's not into that stuff. She doesn't know that. She might tell me, it needs to feel heavier here, or it needs to be more present here, and it's my job to take what she's saying and give her what she wants to hear back, which helps because I've been playing with her for 2 years now. So, Desmond, do you have any recommendations to get on the right path towards playing with a CCM artist? It's the same thing, man. I mean, all this stuff is not really dependent on genre. It's, you know, the process is the same really no matter what style of music you're playing. Ethan, what are some stage presence tips? How do you develop it? I feel like I look stiff when viewing footage of myself. Well, you probably feel like you look stiff because you do look stiff. No, I've never seen you play, but if you feel like you look stiff on stage, it's because you do, and I have been there. I've done that same thing, where I would feel like I looked great or sounded great, and then I go back and watch video of the performance, and it's like, oh my god, what was I doing? So honestly, the best way to develop stage presence is to spend as much time on stage as possible. That's really the only way to do it, where it becomes second nature, and you just don't think about it, you know. And also, it's about confidence, man. Like, this is something I still struggle with, I still deal with from time to time, but realizing that, like, people are there to see you play, right? Or to see the artist you're with play. And so they're there to have a good time. They're there to enjoy themselves. So you need to enjoy yourself. You need to have a good time on stage. You know, look at the other musicians. Make eye contact with people, right? When something cool happens, smile at the other person on stage or laugh. You know, move around. That's a big thing. Like, if you're a guitar player, step away from your pedal board. If you don't need to be at your board right then in that moment, get away from it. That was a big thing for me. I used to always play just gazing down at my board like there was something going on my board that I needed to be paying attention to, which was not the case. So as I developed more confidence, I learned to, okay, cool, my settings, everything's where it needs to be for the next verse or next chorus or whatever. I'm moving away. So I will literally, you'll see me, I'll turn, I'm pretty much always stage right. So I'll turn towards the band, and I'll take a few steps back towards the drummer, or I'll step towards the singer, or I'll step towards the center of the stage, and that breaks me out of my like physical comfort space, which is in front of my board. And then you'll see I start looking around more. I'm looking at the drummer, I'm looking at the bass player, keys player, whatever, and then you just start to groove and you start to feel it. So I would say be more confident and step away from your pedal board. Please demo this pedal stuff video. Jordan, what pedal stuff? Sounds good. You should do live jamming or practice streams on Tuesdays. Call them Blues Tuesdays. Heard YouTubers say having a specific day of the week you always stream. Yeah, so I decided last week that Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be my live stream days, so that's a good idea. Yeah, Eric interacting with both bandmates. Yep. Rick's talking about the YouTube thing I was talking about now. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. He and I have been talking about it the past couple of days. No, I don't use a wireless unit, Ethan. I do use a slightly longer cable, but I'm not one of these guys that's like physically running around stage. You know, I'll move around, but I can't run and play at the same time. So I use, I think, like an 18-foot cable, and most of the stages I'm playing, that's long enough to get around. So, Justin, yeah, you find it more difficult to not be stiff on stage when you don't have an instrument. Yeah, see, now things, I don't have stage fright as long as I've got this. If you take my guitar away from me and I go on stage, then I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. So, but anyway, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I've got to get up at 3 in the morning to catch a flight to New York City with Tilly. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been a great stream. Be on the lookout for the new vlog up tomorrow morning. Backstage Journal, I think this is episode 5. And I'm going to be gone for the weekend. But if you want to see what's going on with our trip, follow me on Instagram at Rhett Shull. We'll be doing the whole Instagram thing from New York, so be on the lookout for that. And next week, I'm going to be hitting the video game hard. So we'll stay in touch then. So anyway, thanks everyone. Have a good